All right. Hey, everyone. We're here with Matt Young from the fucking Grind Legends, King Parrot. If you don't know them, they are an Australian-based grind band that tours the world. They're fucking badass with, I'm going to say, one of the best live shows that you will see when you see them. So go see them. Matt, thank you very much. Appreciate you taking time out of your morning to hang out and chat with me for a bit.
Absolutely, man. Thank you very much for the very kind introduction. Appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Well, you guys are always great, first time I saw you was with Super Joint and Devil Driver, and it was like blew my mind. I was like, I didn't know what to expect because I'd never really listened to you guys before. And like that moment, I
Right.
was like instant fan. Fuck yeah.
Awesome, man. Yeah, well, it's safe to say I think we stood out like dog's balls on that tour.
Yeah. Little bit. Yeah.
It was fun though. It was really great. It was great fun.
I was just talking with Mike DeLeon. Uh
Oh yeah,
yeah, I don't know,
brother.
probably 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he was talking about when that tour came through Texas when they
Right.
he's like, that was such a great fucking show and blah blah blah. And I'm like, hell yeah.
Oh man, I love Mike. He's a really good friend of mine and one of the nicest dudes you'll meet in heavy metal. Like, yeah, me he and I yeah hit it off from day dot when we met each other, and when we've toured together, which we've been lucky enough to do many times, all over the world as well, which has been great. Me and him always buddy up, and we're off doing adventures and laughing and having fun, and we've got we're similar age and similar taste in music, obviously, and but yeah, grew up on the same stuff, so we've got a lot of interconnecting
Interests.
influences, which is
Yeah.
great.
Hell yeah. That's cool. It's always nice to have like a tour buddy. You guys can go and do shit and get crazy in some random town somewhere.
Oh yeah, we have. I mean, we have. I mean, we've done the states a few times together. He's come out, been out here to Australia. We've done Japan. Yeah, but always a great time with Mike. He's awesome. We played with Flesh Order actually in Austin when we were there recently, and they played the show that we played at Come and Take It Live in Austin, which was the last show of the tour. And me and Mike got to hang out quite a bit. We went and ate together and ate some tacos at that little place just down the road there. Are you in Austin or?
No, no, I live in Kentucky.
Mhm.
But I saw
So,
you like I travel a lot for shows. I've seen you guys I saw you guys in Detroit. Well, Chesterfield at Diesel. Um we saw let's see. Well, I saw Mike at the last Slayer tour here in Louisville.
oh yeah, yeah,
A-
yep.
And then I think they had like an off day, and then the day after they were playing in Detroit. So we fucking bolted up to Detroit so
Okay,
we could catch the illegals because
right.
I don't know if you're familiar with Battlecross.
Yep, yeah, I know those guys. Yes.
So they were playing uh that show with the illegals at Harpo's in Detroit, and they're
Oh yes.
they're a
Yep.
bunch of buddies of mine. So I was like, I
Right.
got a couple other buddies that I met because of Battlecross, and we just hopped in the car and went. It was a good time.
Excellent, man. Yeah, no, they're great dudes. Yeah, we played with them a couple of times when we've been up that way in Detroit and stuff. Really nice guys.
Yeah. Yeah, they're good dudes. So you guys are working on new music.
Man, we've been. Yeah, I was in the studio with the boys last night until 6 o'clock or something like that. We've been in the studio the last 4 or 5 days, just writing, demoing stuff. We kind of got excited, a little bit excited, because we kind of got up to like 10 songs now. So we got 10 songs, which is great. Some of them are a little bit more developed than others, but we spent yesterday afternoon just sort of nutting out the riffs and the beats and some vocals and stuff for the last, well, not maybe not the last one. We might do a few more, but it just feels nice when you get to 10, right? Like, 10 feels like a good number for an album. We might go to 11 or 12, but 10 feels solid.
Yeah.
You know, feels like you got a solid chunk of
Seems like
work
a
there.
like a pretty average like amount of songs for an album, you know? Like you hit 10, you're like,
Yeah,
that's a full LP. It's not like
yeah,
you know, like one of the EPs that are what 4 to 6 songs or what have you.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, look, admittedly, it's probably only 20 minutes of music. But you know, it might be a little bit more, it might be 25 or something like that. I don't know.
It's gonna be a heavy 20 minutes though.
Oh yeah, it's heavy as hell. Like it's where like the you know, I think during COVID and stuff, like, you know, we all had to take that time off, which was tough. But I mean, I guess for us, we don't live close together, so it was a big felt like a bigger gap, you know. And
Hmm.
we were able to sneak a few shows in here and there during COVID when the restrictions eased and all of that sort of stuff. But then kind of when we got back together, it was like, man, we just want to play live. We just want to tour. And so we started, you know, touring around Australia quite a bit. And then obviously last year we got the opportunity to come back to the US and, you know, do the stuff that we did. You know, playing with Pantera and Lamb of God and Weed Eater and all of that sort of stuff. And that really sort of ignited the fire under the band again. And but also, you know, it had been a bit of time since we so, you know, let's just sit down and start writing again. And as soon as we started doing that, it was like, let's go. Let's write. Let's do this. And let's not, you know, it's been a few years now. It's been like 6, 7 years since we put a full length record out anyway. And we're like, let's never, ever let that happen again. You know, like
Yeah.
it's got to be every couple of years. We've got to keep creating all the time, you know, and it feels so good to be just writing music again. And we're all buzzing. You can probably tell I'm still buzzing from it, even though we've been in the studio for like 4 days, like doing like 8 to 10 hour sessions, just writing and going for it and moving on to the next idea and rehearsing them and learning them and understanding the songs. And it's been a great process. So we're really excited. We're going to record probably in like maybe a month or two, and
Okay.
then you know we'll move. You know we want to move pretty quickly to get it out. We don't want to waste any time.
Right.
So once it's done, we're going to be ready.
Yeah, the last full length you put out was Ugly Produce, and then you did
Yeah,
an EP in 2020, which I don't recall the name of it, and then you've had
cold hold
the
up in the lair.
yeah, and then you've got the stench of Pub Trash in 22, right?
Well, that Stench of Hardcore Pub Trash was just a re-release. That came out. That was actually our very first EP back in 2011,
Okay.
and we just re-released that. We put it on vinyl, and we put it up on digital. So when you look at it on
Like Spotify or something. It
yeah,
says
yeah, it looks like
22.
it came out in 2022, but it didn't. It was actually from 2011. But anyway,
Gotcha.
yep.
Okay, well, that's cool. It's still nice to be able to, you know, get more shit out there and, you know, add it to
Right.
digital and get the vinyl for it. Which I'm sure does really good for you guys because I feel like um, you know, people in that well, in this realm, right? Like me, I'm a fucking vinyl nerd. I'm looking at, you know, I've got so much vinyl over here. I couldn't listen to it over the course of a year if I just only listened to it, you know.
Yeah. You and me both, bro.
So so what's your favorite album that you own?
Wow, man. I mean, I get asked that question sometimes, and I'm like, fuck, man, I can't answer that question.
Yeah.
It's too hard. That's too way too tough. Um, but I can tell you some of my favorites.
Okay.
Absolutely. Um, some of my, I mean, all time favorites. I mean, anything in the ACDC back catalog. I mean, I'm lucky to be an Australian guy who had a father who was into ACDC when he was younger. So I've got some old original ACDC stuff,
Nice.
original pressings and stuff from Australia, which is really cool. Sabbath, obviously, without saying. So strangely, I'm a bit of a Kinks fan. You know the Kinks. I love the Kinks from the UK. You know, like I've got heaps of their records. I always look for their original pressings and got a lot of the reissues and stuff too. I love all that stuff. But they're just one of my favorite bands. I love them. But then moving on to the more heavier stuff. Well, whew, I don't even know where to start.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah.
Okay. These guys, I don't know. Oh, you can't see. Hold on. Just despise you.
Okay.
Love despise you. One of my love those guys. I was lucky enough to be able to bring them out to Australia in May last year, and two of them that West Side Horizons LP. I love that. Oh man, I couldn't pick one favorite. I love when I sometimes I would say maybe Poison Idea. I love Poison Idea.
Okay.
Feel the Darkness. That record I love. But man, there's so many. There's so many.
So
Um,
do you recall a band in the 90s? They were an Australian, like I'm gonna call them an Australian hardcore band
okay.
called No Reason.
No Reason.
Yeah.
I
They
remember the name. Yeah, I definitely remember the name. Yeah.
they were they were fucking great. I was just thinking about them the other day, like, man, I had what I have, I don't know, I had like two albums from them and I was like, man, this is the
Okay.
best thing ever. My fucking little brother, God, probably 98, 99, took all my shit and sold it. And I'm like,
Great.
motherfucker, right? Like, fuck.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, those dudes, they were super nice. Like they came through and we did a show.
It did.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
they
I'm going to look into that band because I remember the name for sure, but I don't remember. Um, yeah, I don't remember them being like a huge band or anything like
they
that, like in
they
Australia.
absolutely weren't, dude.
Okay.
They were small.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how big they were in Australia, but here,
Yeah.
like they came over, I think for about a month. Um, and they were just like super nice dudes, fucking put on a great show. And I was like, I
Right.
probably once or twice a year, I'm like searching the internet, like, God, can I find any other shit anywhere? And I never do, but
Right. Well, that's the interesting thing, right, about Australian, the underground Australian scene, like back, especially back then too, is like because the internet brought everything so much closer together and all of that stuff. There's a lot of bands in Australia that I love that didn't quite get that international exposure. So when I say to people, "Oh, hey, have you heard of this band? Have you heard of that band?" and they were like, "Nah, man, never heard of it." And it's like, I mean, you get that everywhere anyway. I get
yeah,
that. People in America, "Oh, have you heard these underground grindcore band?" And I'm like, "Dude, no, I haven't. Show me." Like, you know. Um, so there's a lot of bands that from that time when we were growing up in Melbourne here that were incredibly influential on us, and also um, that they didn't get that sort of reach that they probably would have got these days had the internet been around and Spotify and Apple Music and all that bullshit. So um, yeah, so there's bands like Blood Duster and Damaged, Bean Flipper, who are a big influence on King Parrot. Um, you know, fuck, there's so many more. I mean, Sadistic Execution, they got a bit of notoriety back in the day because they were one of the. I don't think they classify themselves as black metal, but they influenced the black metal scene and those bands in Norway that were burning down churches and shit. You can see them sometimes wearing a Sadistic Execution t-shirt, and those guys are just crazy, like absolutely mental, and an influence on what we do. So
yeah, but you're not burning down
yeah,
churches.
well, they didn't burn down churches themselves, but like the people that they influence. But check them out, man. You got to check out
For
Sadistic
sure.
Execution. It's they got an album called "We Are Death, Fuck You," and spelt with
Okay.
two Ks. Fuck spelt with two Ks, and they're just hilarious guys. And I've got to know a couple of the dudes over the years, and they're sweet dudes. They're really cool. But they created something that was really different at that time, and it was influential. So yeah, really cool stuff. There's a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
really cool stuff out there.
Yeah, I love that. I love finding like bands that no one's, I don't want to say that no one's heard of, but that don't have a lot of popularity because man, some
Yeah,
of those that the early days of a band to me are like that's the that's the key, like defining moments for a band. We look at early days of Slayer with, Hello Eights and
Yeah,
all that shit, right? And then you
yeah,
like Battlecross with Pursuit of Honor was really fucking good, and
yep,
you know, it's all over the board. But to me, that those early, hell, even Metallica, right? Early days, everyone's like early Metallica, that's where it's at. But
yeah.
yeah, you know.
Totally, totally, totally.
So, you guys planning on recording in a couple of months? Once you record, like, how long do you think until it gets released?
Well, I'd like it to come out this year, but just depending on what happens, like in terms of, you know, there's always those, um, questions around the pressing plants, the vinyl pressing plants, and all that sort of stuff. So digitally and all that sort of stuff, it's no problem, obviously. But yeah, the vinyl stuff can delay things. But I think it's been okay lately. And yeah, we've got a few different labels that we work with. So we probably do it ourselves here in Australia, and then work with Housecore over in America, and then we work with Agonia Records in Europe.
Okay.
So yeah, but I think they've all, everyone's kind of got good relationships with the vinyl pressing plants, so it shouldn't take too long. We want to get it moving, we want to get it out there.
Yeah, I'm not super familiar with Agonia, but obviously I'm familiar with, Housecore with,
Yeah.
Nest and Child Bite and
Oh yeah.
you guys, right? Like a lot of really good bands on Housecore, which I'm gonna go see Child Bite here in like an hour.
Give them a hug for me and tell them I said hello.
I will. Yeah,
Yeah,
those
yeah,
dudes
I
are
love
all
those guys.
super fucking nice too.
Yeah, yeah. Oh
Uh,
yeah, yeah. We've what? We've played more shows with Child Bite than any other band. Like we played over 100 shows with Child Bite.
Fuck yeah. Wow.
Yeah, like we've toured in the US with them a lot, and then we actually brought them out here to Australia. I want to say it was like 2018, maybe 2018, 2019. And we did a big, like, we did 24 dates in Australia or something. We went all the way from Melbourne. We drove all the way up the East Coast, right up to the top of Queensland, which is like right up to Cairns, which is, probably more than the length of America. And, probably more than the length of the East Coast of America or the West Coast or whatever. It was a lot of shows. We had a great time with those guys. It was like 12 people in a 12-seater van with a trailer on the back. It was ridiculous, but it was unforgettable too.
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So, speaking of touring, what are some of your like favorite tour memories?
Oh wow. I mean, I think early days, we did. When we first came to America, that was kind of cool. I think it was like back in 2014. It's like 10 years ago now. We did South by Southwest. We played some shows with Cattle Decapitation out in California,
Right on.
which was amazing, really cool. We done a tour with them in Australia just prior, and we became friends with those guys, and so we did a few shows with them. Then we went to South by Southwest, and just getting out there for the first time and doing a US tour was incredible for us. It was a great experience. Some nights playing with Cattle Decapitation. We're playing bigger shows like 3, 4, 500 people. And South by Southwest is an experience unto itself anyway. But then
For
we'd
sure.
drive along and we were headlining and had a couple of smaller US bands supporting us, and sometimes no one would turn up. Like to be 10 or 20 people there, um
And
and then
15 of
and it
those
was
20 are
great.
bands.
Yeah, 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 right. We've all done it. And sometimes that can get a little demoralizing, I guess, when you do a few of those in a row.
Yeah.
But then you get a surprise, and then 100 people will show up, 200 people will show up, and it's like, oh fuck, thanks, that's great. Feels much better. Um, but the interesting thing for us was that we had a lot of momentum around that time with our first album and the video for Shit on the Liver, and people were discovering us for the first time. So by the time that year had gone out, we did 4 US tours that year. We toured with, we did our own tour. We toured with Origin, um,
They're on
which
tour
was like
right
another
now with.
third. Yeah, they're out there at the moment. Yeah, and we're still friends with those guys. You know, I caught up with John Longstreth not long ago. Great guy, and and Paul Ryan actually. We when we played with Paul's other band when we played in San Francisco. Um, but then we went from that to, we were supposed to do a tour with Cryptopsy, but it got cancelled. So we put something together, and that was sort of when we first started playing with Child Bite. And then we did a little run with Child Bite, and then we made our way down and we played at the Housecore Horror Fest in Austin, and we did that, which was amazing. But then we went home, did a little tour at home, and then we went straight back and did a tour with Down and Orange Goblin, and did a month with those guys. And that was like, we were going from doing playing to 5 or 10 people some nights to playing at the Wilton in LA and the Fillmore in San Francisco. It's just like, what the
And
fuck?
at probably sold out crazy fucking shows because like,
And those huge shows,
dude,
and they weren't expecting us,
yeah, no,
Oh, we're gonna go and watch Down and rock out to some stoner rock with Orange Goblin and stuff, and then
you come
we
out and you're
come on
like,
first, and we're just like blast beats and fucking going bananas, like you know,
"Right, this is our
abusing the crowd, and they're like, people are getting water thrown in their face, and they're like, "Fuck you, man, fuck you," and we're like, "Fuck you."
we're gonna open with the ballad "Shit on Your Liver." Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, the best part was is that every night, like we play, and people would come early, because they didn't know what to expect or whatnot, and just watching the guys from Down and Orange Goblin, they would just come and watch us because they would want to see the spectacle of what would happen and the reaction from the audience when we played. So they were all like laughing their asses off, fucking, and we were just doing our thing. So yeah, it's pretty funny.
Well,
But
that's
that was
something
cool.
I've got to say about Phil is like, every time, I see him out, he's almost always side stage watching the opening band, which is fucking awesome, right? Like we saw him
Yeah.
Pantera Lamb of God last summer in Indianapolis, and Snafu was opening, who
Yeah.
again, another great fucking band.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
and I watched Phil side stage just jam out to him the whole fucking set. I'm like, God, that is
Yeah.
just, you know,
So cool, man. It's so super cool. I mean, yeah, those guys have been so supportive of us and so generous and hospitable. You know, Unbelievable the amount of support that they give to the underground bands and the bands that they love, and they obviously see something in each of these bands that they sign, and they don't do it. They don't just sign anyone. It's, they
right.
think about it and they go, well, that band's doing something different. Like, that's cool. Like, let's work with them. And yeah, it's been almost, yeah, probably 10 years or that we've been working with them. So it's great. There's not quite another label like it.
No, not at all. Everyone else
Yeah,
wants, I feel like everyone else wants to have a very specific like niche with the music that they put out.
yeah,
Like, oh, we're only going to do deathcore, or we're only going to do right death metal, or
yeah,
whatever that is, and
yeah,
there it's almost like a hyper focus, whereas like housecore is like, oh, well, we've got King Parrot, this fucking grind, and then we've got Child Bite, and we've got Nest, which is
yeah.
more that it's fucking all over the place.
Yeah, man, I gotta say, Nest are a great band too. We played with them in New Orleans, but we also, when we got there, we were down at the House Call compound, and they were there as well. And John Jarvis, who's a friend of ours, who's a guitarist and singer, and plays in Scour and Agoraphobic Nosebleed as well. Yeah, we got to watch him jam and play as well. And man, they're an impressive band, really impressive. I was super stoked on them.
Yeah, they've got I think Derek Ingman just joined the band too, which is cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh
Derek's another guy who we've known since fucking a long time. He's a great friend, and me and him go surfing together when we get to catch up. He actually took me surfing when we went to San Diego recently, which was awesome. And we've surfed in Sydney and yeah, a few other places. So
God, talk
yeah,
about some cool fucking memories. Like, yeah, me and my buddy, we went surfing all over the world. Like that's
yeah, right. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But you know, when you get the opportunity to do it, and you know, it's like, and you want to hang, you want to see your friends that you don't get to see that often. So
yeah, for
yeah,
sure. Especially when,
really cool.
when you're so far away. It's you gotta
Yeah,
make those memories that are gonna fucking last, like, surfing in
yeah.
Sydney or San Diego or whatever that is.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, that was one of the coolest things about coming back to America after however many years, like 4 years or 5 years or whatever it was. Is like I knew we were going to catch up with a lot of people, but I just kind of forgot how many people it was. You know, like it was every single day, every single show was like, man, oh shit, man, how you doing? Big hugs and just like these people that you've made friends with over the years that you've seen so many times and it was incredible to just get back there and you know hug it out and hang out and eat good food. People were bringing us food and stuff, and you know little hampers and stuff. And we had this one look in Detroit. This lady, I'd never seen this lady before. I never met her. I didn't even. She just messaged our Facebook page and she says, "I want to bring you some stuff from Detroit." I'm like, oh, okay. I said, well, we're sitting in the bus out the front of the venue. You can't miss it.
Right.
And she just came and knocked on the door and bought us this hamper of, you know, it had like a bottle of whiskey in it, and it had a bottle of vodka in it, and it had all this food, and had some shorts and socks, like Detroit socks and Detroit shorts, and a hat and some beanie, and all of this stuff. And I'm like, that's just incredible. You know, America's great for that stuff. You don't get that so much in Australia, I don't think. You know, I think in America, it's great for that stuff.
I always see it as it's the heavy metal community, right? Like
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people I know do that to, any kind of touring band, right? Like did it a lot for Battle Cross. I see it with, Goat Whore, and whatever other band essentially is touring. They're just like, hey,
Mhm.
welcome to our area. Here's some great food. Here's some booze. You want some weed? You can have some weed or, whatever that is,
Yeah.
you know, which is,
Incredible, man.
yeah. Actually, John Jarvis, speaking of weed, was just telling they were just in Lexington. So I interviewed,
Okay.
they were here the other night too, and I had a quick little interview with him.
Oh,
Uh,
great.
but they were in Lexington with the Lamb of God Pantera tour, and he said they're backstage and do this little old lady knocks on the door. I hear you're looking for something. And they're like, yeah, and she hands them this bag of weed. It's like, oh,
Yeah. Oh man, that was one of the funny things. Like when we were doing those shows with Pantera and Lamb of God last year, like I think at one of the shows we might have been up in Maine, Bangor, Maine. There was actually a dude that had a little like he had a little his own little tent set up, you know, and he was just like giving weed out to everyone for free. Like it's unbelievable. The whole joint was fucking toasted. It was hilarious.
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
So you don't drink anymore, right?
Yeah, I don't do drink. I don't drink or take drugs. No, I haven't done so for 12 years now.
Congratulations.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's I think that's a life changer. I decided to go on a little sober thing actually because of the Pantera show in Indianapolis. I got
Right.
I got way too trashed and I don't remember Lamb of
Yeah.
God or Pantera taking the stage. So I was like, okay, that's like I need a break. That was stupid.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I had countless nights like that
Yeah.
in back in my day, and when I got to like 30, I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm done. I mean, how much more wasted can I get? You know, I just want to experience. I just enjoy experiencing life as it is now. You know, I mean, I don't care if what anyone else does. You know, as long as you're not hurting anyone, you're fine by me. You know, like,
Right.
um, but yeah, for me personally, I mean, yeah, I used to take drugs. I used to smoke a lot of pot all the time. I was get high at every opportunity, and I used to drink like a fish. So I just went, okay, I'm done. I'm done. So yeah, it's been the best thing I ever did for sure.
Hell yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel like, making that change, consciously making that decision to say, okay, listen, I'm gonna like sober mind this. It really helps you like focus. The creativity is so much fucking better because you've got a clear mind to go in
yeah,
and do it and actually, understand what you're doing and not just, hey, that sounds great, and I'm
yeah,
killing
yeah,
the
yeah,
track or
yeah.
whatever.
No, it's definitely much more. Yeah, I mean, I think I played in lots of bands from when I was 15 to 30 as well. Like lots of different bands in Melbourne. I was playing bass and I did vocals in a couple bands, and we never really got to do anything because I was just trashed the whole time, like daily. Um, and when we started doing King Parrot in the early stages, I was still drinking and drugging a bit, and we'd get to the rehearsal room, and I'd be like, we'd get like a case of beer, and there was just the three of us at that point. And the two guys that were playing instruments were playing the instruments most of the time. So they'd drink 6 or 7 beers, but I was doing vocals and I was just like taking a swig after every line. And I'd drink like 10 or 12 beers, and by the end of it, I'd be like trying to, at the rehearsal place, and just, it was like that and I just got tired of it, man. Once I started, I couldn't stop. So I was just like, I'm better off not having any.
For sure. I totally get it. So,
Yeah, yeah.
in all your years of playing live, are there some bands that you saw play that you didn't expect to be as good as they were, that you're just like, holy shit, they were fucking awesome, and I would see them every chance I get?
Oh, quite a few. Yeah, there's definitely quite a few. I mean, yeah, I can think of a few straight off. I mean, most recently, Nest. I was like, they're great. They are a great band. They do something completely different, and it's kind of difficult to be unique at this point in the game.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of bands that try, and there's a lot of bands that just sound like everything else. And Nest are one of those bands. They don't sound like anyone else. So I think that's a great thing that they've done, is develop their own sound. Um, Challenging to do at this time, but good on them. I always say like Cattle Decapitation, amazing that live band, really cool.
Every time.
Um, yeah, yeah, we've toured with them a little bit over the years. I want to
Now,
say like,
when you toured with Cattle Decap, just real quick on that, like
yeah,
2014, Derek Ingman was still with them then, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So we did a couple tour. We did Australia with them. We did a few shows with them on that first tour in California, and then a year later, I want to say we did a big North American tour with them. We did like, did one of those big 6 week tours. Did Canada and all around the US, and that was really cool. Yeah, so Derek was still in the band at that point. And then I mean, yeah, we've toured with him a lot too, because then he went over to the Illegals, and
Yep.
then we've toured with the Illegals a lot as well. So, um, yeah, so that definitely another really cool band. I want to also like, I always loved Obituary.
Oh yeah.
Like I always loved Obituary from back in the day. I thought they were great. But then when we toured with them in Europe, I want to say it was like 2016 maybe. We did a tour with Obituary, Exodus, and Prong in Europe, and that was a killer.
That
That
would have
was
been
amazing.
great
But
fucking bill.
just dude, watching Obituary on the side of the stage, just the way how tight they are, and I mean, I know they're not playing the most complicated music, but they don't need to, because they're so, to me, they're like the AC/DC of death metal. They just fucking keep it real simple.
Yeah.
I mean, Donald Tardy is a phenomenal drummer. He's got unbelievable feel and groove, and
And
just the way he's like double kickers, man. It's just awesome. So
and
good live.
couple that with Terry Butler on the bass is like fucking, you know, like those dudes just constantly, every time I see them, it's like the show is it's always the same. You're right. It's fucking
Yeah,
tight. They're a great band. Like, and Terry, I think, is in like every fucking band ever.
yeah,
Like
yeah. But I think that core of the band, with Donald and John and Trevor, they they're just so tight. He's got that simple guitar tone, that simple guitar sound. Might have changed marginally a little bit over the years, but it's much and much the same. But I mean, that last record they did's awesome. I love that last record they did. They're actually just out here in Australia too, and
yeah,
man,
just
what a
last
great
month,
band!
right?
Yeah. So yeah, man, I just getting that opportunity to watch them and John Hardy's vocals. I mean, wow, like incredible. And then he like comes off stage and he's just like the sweetest, nicest dude, and you wouldn't even like if you walk past him in the street, you'd never, when he's got his hair all tucked up in his hat and stuff, and he's just walking along, you'd never go, that's the guy from Obituary.
Right.
You think he was just this fucking Miami Dolphins fan. Awesome band. Yeah, love those guys, man. So cool.
Fuck
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh man, and other bands. Wow. Well, man, it's when you get put on the spot like that to think of stuff. It's like it's kind of tough, but there's
I
so
know.
many.
When you don't have to
Yeah.
think about it, you're like, man, all these fucking bands are so great. And then I'm like, hey, what about this? And you're like,
I know. And I want to think of a couple of underground bands that have kind of, um, I'll give a couple of shout outs to some of the bands that I work with out here in Australia because they've all the bands that I work with here in Australia are bands that have caught my attention, and that's a grindcore band from Melbourne called Chuff. Um, they're
how do
called
you,
Chuff, which is like a slang term for weed.
oh, okay.
Yeah, you haven't heard that one?
No.
No, they're called Chuff, and
How's it spelled?
CHOOF.
Okay.
Yeah, great dudes, great band, real fun. Um,
I'm gonna look that up.
yeah, you'll love them. They're great. They're fucking great. And another band I work with called Black Reno. They've done a little bit of stuff in the US, like they played at South by Southwest. They were recently just over in the States recording um, with Machine, who is a record producer that's down in Texas now. He's done stuff with Clutch and Lamb of God and lots of bands. He's an incredible producer. So they just recorded their new album with him, and it's amazing. And it's going to come out, somewhere down the track. But they're actually playing. They're supporting Pantera with us here in Australia.
Hell
They're
yeah.
doing one-off show in Adelaide, and it's going to be Black Reno, King Parrot, and Pantera. So that's pretty cool. They're a great band, well worth checking out. They've got some great videos on YouTube as well. And there's another band I work with called Astro Death, and they're more like they're kind of like a spacey stoner metal. Like they remind me of like a few different things. They remind me of like stuff like Mastodon and Karma to
Okay.
Burn and stuff like that. But then they've also got this Australian element, this Australian rock element too. They just do something really unique, really different, and it really caught my eye or caught my ear, so to speak, when I first heard them. And yeah, I've been working with them for a while too. They're great, really cool band.
Hell yeah. Well, good. That's some
Yeah,
good
man.
bands for me and everyone else to check out.
Yeah,
I feel like there's always a so much music out there.
yeah,
It's and it's at our fingertips anymore. Uh
yeah.
Actually, I went to a show the other night. There was these two bands playing, and one band I was like, eh. The other band was fucking great. And I went to send it to a buddy of mine, but I sent him the wrong band. And he goes, dude,
Oh,
he goes, where the fuck did you come up with this? And I'm like, dude, they're so good. Like, check it out, blah, blah, blah. And then like 10 minutes later, I look and I'm like, oh, I sent you the wrong fucking band, dude. I'm sorry. Here, check these guys out. And he's like, oh, much better. I'm like, oh fuck.
and who were they?
So the really good band was Star Guided Vessel.
Okay, all right.
So they're
Something
they're
to check out.
Yeah, they're local here. They do more like an atmospheric, like I don't know, like a prog kind of thing.
Okay, cool. I'll check it out.
Yeah, they were good. So you guys working on new material, all that stuff. Do you have touring plans for the States in the future, like 12 months ish?
Dude, we want to get back there as soon as we can, so we're just working on that at the moment. We would like to have something out by the time we'd like to have a single at the very least out, with a video or something like that. So yeah, we're gonna. I can't say anything right now because it's nothing's locked in, but we're definitely chatting about it, and there's definitely stuff in the works.
Okay.
So yeah, we'll just keep we'll just keep plugging away at it. We want to do this. We want to come back to the States every year, and we want to go to Europe as well, and do our thing over there, and tour here, obviously, and it's what we love to do. We're,
Yeah.
we're very grateful to have the opportunity to be able to do it, and it's I mean, yeah, it's tricky, and it's kind of expensive, and it's kind of crazy doing it as a grind band. I mean, we probably could have picked a slightly friendlier genre or something, but when you love this music, right, you love it, and
Yeah.
that is what it is. You just love what you do. But kind of, when I talk to people, people in the industry, they're like, "Fuck, it's got to be tough doing it from Australia," and it's like, yeah, it is, it is. But we make it work, and we just keep making it work. We just keep finding a way to make it work, and there's we talk about it. We discuss what we want to do. We discuss how we're going to do it, and feel like the band's in a really good spot right now. We're back writing. We're gonna record. We've just booked in our recording, so that's happening. We know when it's happening. We know when we're gonna do it. We've got our guy doing it. It's great. So yeah, it's just exciting to be able to go, fuck, work on a new record, put a new record out, another one for the catalog. So and then with that means more videos. So that's another opportunity for us to be creative. And yeah, we're already talking to our video guy, so that's great. The conversation started, so we're excited, man.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm interested to see whose song name you guys pick for the song on the next album. Like
Yeah,
that's
that
a
was just an idea I had when we were in the studio the other day. I thought, I'll put this on social media and see what happens. Man, I think we've got like over 300 new song ideas, song
yeah,
song
song
title
names.
ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So and some of them obviously are completely ridiculous, but there's a couple in there that I was reading them out to the guys the other day when we were sitting down having lunch, and I was like, we were just laughing our asses off. It was great.
Fuck yeah. Someone's gonna
Yeah,
go, I named the fucking song. All right.
yeah.
You know?
Oh, there were some great ones, man. There was some really great ones. So yeah, but yeah, we'll have to pluck one out.
Hell yeah. So do you guys have a name for the album yet, or is that still like nothing?
Not yet. We haven't decided on anything yet. So we're just gonna keep pushing. It'll pop out. It'll pop out. There's some good song titles there. There's some really good song titles in there that I'm really really happy with. So, but
Anything you
I don't
care
want
to
to spoil.
share?
I don't want to spoil the surprise. Because it's like there's some funny shit on there. So it's good.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
So art have you guys haven't even started on artwork for it yet, have you?
We've started doing that. Like we've got someone in mind to do it. We've sent him a bit of a brief. We've sent him some ideas that we like from other stuff that we like, and what that sort of direction that we want to push it in. So he's got it. So we're getting ahead of the game. We're getting ready. So when the music's done, we're going to have everything ready. So it's exciting, man. I want to be prepared. I want to move as soon as it's done. I want to get it in there and start
And
the
push, push,
process.
push. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. You know, I'll tell you, first time I wore my ugly produce shirt, my wife was
Oh
like,
yeah.
"What the hell is that?" And I'm like, oh, come on, it's fucking music. You know me. She's like, it's weird. I'm like, yeah, of course it is. Like, come on, it's fucking great.
What would it be if it wasn't weird, right?
Right. Well, and my wife, she's not a metalhead at all.
Okay.
She's more of a hippie,
Okay.
so she goes to the shows and she's like, you have fun. I'm gonna sit here back at the table and do my thing. And I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
Just kind of
Great.
funny.
Hey, well, it's nice that she goes with you.
Yeah. Yeah, she's great. I'm a lucky dude. I love her to death.
Good
She's
on you.
fucking awesome. She lets
That's
me do
great.
crazy shit like this. I'm like, hey, I want to do a podcast about music, and she's like, okay, have at it.
Love it. It's
Fuck
great.
yeah. She, I first time I remember, there was a Battlecross tour, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna take off for like a week, and I'm just gonna go follow the fucking band. And she's like, okay, I'll take care of the kids. I'm like, fuck yeah.
Amazing. That's great, man. That's
Yeah.
love.
Yeah. Something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good
So
shit. Good shit.
next time you guys come to the States, I would love to see you in Kentucky.
Oh yeah. We didn't make it there this time, right?
I don't think so. No.
No. I know we were nearby, I want to
Yeah.
say we played at Full Terror Assault Festival,
Yeah, in Illinois.
but that's kind of near Kentucky, right? Where that is, it's kind of nearby.
Yeah, I think it's well, from where I am, I think it's like 3-ish hours away,
Yeah.
something like
I
that.
think uh, I think because we played there, they were kind of like, you can't play around this area because we played at Full Terror Assault. So
Yeah.
I think that was kind of why we probably didn't get to Kentucky. But I know we've played there a bunch of times.
Yeah. Probably like the Covington area primarily.
There's a million places in America called Covington, and there's a million. Well, there's another common name in America. Like there's a lot, I suppose. Yeah,
Dude,
it's like
everything in America, we are not original at all. We fucking
yeah,
like we
but there's a name for this city, and it's like in every fucking state. It's like why?
yeah,
Yeah,
we're gonna go to, Louisville. Oh, Louisville, Ohio, or Bowling Green, Ohio. No,
yeah,
Kentucky. Like,
yeah,
what the fuck? Like,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's good shit.
uh,
Um, okay. So, Matt, we're getting close. It's about showtime for me.
do it, man.
Would go catch up with Sean and the guys from Child Bite. Oh,
Yeah,
there's a band I think you'll dig from here called Bad Wires.
bad wires. All right, hold on.
Yeah,
Let me get my bad wires. I like that name. That's cool.
yeah, they're fucking great.
What was that other band you said before?
Star Guided Vessel.
Star Guided Vessel. Right. Yeah. Cool. I gotta write that down too. All right. I got it. Cool. I love that
Yep.
shit.
Dude, thank you very much for again, for taking time out of your morning to come hang out and chat music and King Parrot and just, all things music. I got some good bands to go check out. I'm excited.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Hey, thank you for supporting us. Thank you for supporting underground music. We appreciate it. It's people like yourself that keep it going, So we're very grateful. And please give my boys from Child Bite a big hug and give them my
Fuck yeah.
love. I
I
love
for
those
sure
guys.
will. Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. All right, dude. Well, go have yourself a great day. I can't wait to hear some new King Parrot.
Oh, it's coming, man. It's coming.
Awesome. See you,
All
dude.
right. See you, brother.